What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my studio. I'm Joseph Finchum, you are you, and we're finishing this. No, no, we're working on this skateboard today. Finishing, that's a little iffy. No, that's very iffy. Not gonna happen. Not today. I would love to, but no. I do have it set up. I pre-white painted 3 more flowers, and a couple of things that needed some touch-ups. So I'll do the 3 flowers and then the touch-ups. If we have time left, I'll start on the poppy, which is probably the biggest flower in the piece. So that'll be good. I hope everyone can hear me. Thank you, Violet Sky, for being here. Teresa is not going to be here. Don't know if anyone else is here at the moment. It does say I have 3 viewers, but only one is talking in the chat. So, we'll see what happens. Okay, so before we start, I need to talk about my incompetence. The Patreon postcard that was supposed to go out at the end of April did not get ordered. Don't do Patreon work, or don't work in general, when you're exhausted, because that's what I had done back then. I was working all day in here, and then I got tired, and I was trying to get it done, so I built the postcard and put all the images and text on it and everything, but apparently I never hit the confirm button. So the next one that's supposed to be coming will be coming end of June. Was supposed to be the end of June. So I'm gonna push that up to the end of May. I'm hoping, and we'll get those out as soon as possible. So, and you'll get 2 instead of just 1. But yeah, I screwed up. It's my fault. I apologize. If you're a patron, thanks for sticking with me. If you're not a patron, why not? Okay, anyway, let's go. And I'm not switching. Let's try that. Okay. So here's what we got here today. This flower in here, this flower in here, a couple little spots on some of the mushrooms, and a little bit down in here is what we're going to be working on. I'm going to start, though, with the cosmos over here. So, yes, I have my paints ready. Give them another quick spritz, keep them wet. Wet my palette a little bit, just in case. And I'm going right into my tiny little brush. This is what I've been using on the majority of this piece because everything is small. I know some people say use bigger brushes, get used to using bigger brushes. I can't. Every time I try, everything goes wrong. So, we'll see. Hey, hi, Heather Bryant. Hi, George Pencil Art. Thank you both for being here. I appreciate it. Just in time as we start getting into this. Okay, so I'm going to start the cosmos with this light pink color, and hopefully, let's see, not putting my head in the way. Good. Let me go a little closer. Why are you not working? Let me reinitialize this and see if that helps. It is not helping. Okay. Let's try that. That's a little better. I'm just going to start by basing in this pink color. Try and get it as smooth as possible. But if there's a couple of lines in there, it really doesn't matter because the flower itself has some lines in it. I could probably paint right over that. That's the piece of the tiger lily that I seem to have missed. But we'll do it this way. Just trying to get it in there, get it covered up. That's all we're working on right now. Hmm. Let's see. And I think it was Rob last week who said to flip it upside down. Great suggestion. You can't see me, and I'm giving the screen the camera a thumbs up. Anyway, so yeah, thanks Rob for letting me be reminded that you can actually flip your artwork upside down. Sometimes you have to. Sometimes it helps you see perspectives better, and sometimes it just helps you get the right angle so you can paint better. What did everyone think of the thumbnail? Uh, what do we got here? I fixed my easel. Oh, good for you, Heather Bryant. Was it hard to fix, or was it as simple as finding a new screw? I know you said something about screws fell out of it, if I remember correctly. And if you can tell, I'm trying to pull the paint in the direction of the pedal. So like I said, if the brush strokes are left there, then they're going to be in the same stripy pattern that the flower has itself. This is tough. Okay. this side, I want it to be just a little bit darker. See if I can just get a little bit more paint in there. Okay, we're gonna give that a second to dry. Clean off my little brush. Don't have to get all the paint out, but most of it is good. Okay, so that's a cosmos. This is going to be a strawberry flower. Or it could be a wild rose. They look very similar, so I'm going to get some straight white. And we're going to start painting this sucker. I can't actually see around the edge, but let's hope it's good. There's a little bit of a shadow there, so I'm going to leave that a little gray. Not that you can probably see it. It's very, very tiny. I know. Same here, a little bit of shadow. Excuse me. And this might need a coat or two, because the blue is very powerful and does come through the white a bit. Trying to leave just a hint of that gray in there, caused by the white going over the blue. And now I'm just going to thin this white down a little bit. Very, very thin, just so I can get a little bit of color in these gaps. But I don't want it to be as strong as everything else. Okay, into the forget-me-not. I might have to lighten this blue as it is pretty close to the background blue. We'll have to see how this goes as we paint. Can always make changes on the fly. Trying to make sure it stays somewhat smooth. Oh, we definitely all do, George. Yeah. Violet Sky said it great. We all do, George. You're willing to spend hours doing one thing repeatedly. Yeah, you have screws. That's a good, somewhat smooth covering. The light source is coming from there, so I'll just leave that a little lighter. Cosmos is good. We can go back into that. Make sure I get all the blue out of this. Okay, so I'm going to try and get that a little bit smoother with a little bit more of that pink color. Nice and vibrant as well. This one in the back I'm going to leave darker. Ooh, smart idea. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought for a second there it pulled up the wrong chat, but it didn't. Hopefully that's coming up as a nice vibrant pink for you guys. A little bit darker down in there. So now I'm going to darken that a bit. Maybe thin it out just a tiny bit. See how dark this is. A little bit more, just a tiny bit darker. Just to try and get this shadow in here. I'll fix that if need be at some other point. Right now it's looking okie dokie. Little bit of cast shadow in there. Might not be easy to see, but it's there. Still don't know why that isn't working. See if I can get a little closer. Maybe. Nope, wrong way. Change that angle a bit. See if that helps. We're working right up in here. So this little seed thing, that's going to have to be a little bit darker. And I might have been doing my shadow in the wrong direction. So there's that. So we might have to fix that in a bit. I think this shadow is supposed to be on that side. Okay. Let's see if I can go back over the spot where I originally created the shadow. Take that out a bit. There we go. Okay. So now the center is going to be darker. So we're going to try bring some of this darker color in here. Fairly even and concise circle. Bring it up just a little bit more into the petal because it actually gets darker twice. Get some of that white covered up. And then I'm going to go into the straight magenta. Let me clean that off a bit. Get that pink out of there. You know what? Let me let that dry a second. Back to my strawberry flower or wild rose. It can be either. There is still red in that. I want white, not pink. Okay. It is indeed, George. Glad your health is good. Thin that a bit. And my lighting might seem a little off today. Um, the duo light that I usually have right on this was creating so much glare that I actually have it facing up at the ceiling. So it's a little bit more ambient, and the color looks a little bit better and a little easier to see, but it's definitely not as bright. Okay. How we looking there? That's good, that's good. That needs a little glaze of white in here, just to make it a little bit more uniform. I may do that twice. Cosmos. So we're going to try and get even a little bit darker here with the Quadonkydonk magenta. Is that how Lisa says it? Quadonkydonk? Let's see here. No, that actually lightened the color and I darkened it. That's not going to work. That's too thin. Too thin. A little bit darker on that side. And while I have this dark color, hit this again. make that shadow stand out a little bit more. It may be completely wrong, but we're working on it. Tell you about, oh, what is that? Tell you about my hike. Okay. We drove up Saturday morning, got there at about 10 o'clock. And by 10:15 I was exhausted. No, I'm kidding. But it was very, very hard. Was not expecting it to feel as hard as it did. It's been a few years. It's been a few pounds. So things have clearly changed. And yeah, we did about 6 miles, I think, the first day. 6 miles in to where the overlook is. If you saw the little slideshow at the beginning of this episode, this stream, the destination, that rocky point all the way up on the hill, but you can't just go straight there. You got to go all the way this way, and then all the way back, and then up, and then you're back and forth a bunch of times. I brought my watercolor set, a tripod, some paper, something to tape the paper to, some water, and a camera, and I figured I was going to go up there and I was going to paint something, and I got to the top and it was a no-go. I was actually exhausted by then. So, that clearly did not happen. Damn it. Still got pink in this brush. Yeah, we got to the top, and it was me and my friend Chad. We got to the top, and it was about 4 o'clock. Took much longer than we expected, and we knew we had to backtrack to go and to go back to where we were going to be camping, where we were going to be setting up our tents. And by the time we got back there, where we were setting up our tents was actually in like a valley. So the sun started disappearing way earlier than we expected. So yeah, got no painting done. And carried all the extra weight for nothing. I should not have. I should have just, this time, being the first time in 3 years I've gone for a hike, I shouldn't have done it. Wait, I need to bring up a different picture here for a second to see what color the stem is. So it's like a dark reddish orange. Maybe if I just glaze some red over it, it might work out. I don't have red, but I'll use the magenta. See if we can get a good contrasting bit right here. See if I can mix a little bit of yellow into that and get an orange. Or a near orange. A little brighter. A little brighter. that dry a bit. Back to some plain white. And so, yeah, so hey, Starving, thank you for joining me. Um, yeah, good for her. It took me, I think it was 3 years when I was younger to do all the different sections. I did it from one end to the other, but it was like, go here, hike to here, go home. Come back a couple weeks later, hike from here to there. I never through hiked it. I would love to through hike it. That is a goal of mine. Where was I going? Oh, yes, in here. Um, you know what? I got white, but I need black first, which is going to make things a little weird. Maybe I'll just put a little bit of the magenta into that so it's not completely black, but dark enough to get me that little center dot that the forget-me-nots have. That's a little watery. A little too much water left in that brush. Take that out completely. Do it again. Okay, that'll work. Yeah. So through hiking it, I would love to do. I would like to say that I'm past my prime for doing it, but I'm not. I know I'm not because an 82-year-old blind guy did it, and if he can do it, I can get my fat butt up those mountains. But it's also 7 months out of your lives and costs a couple of $1,000. So someday maybe. So yeah, so we it was starting to get dark way earlier than expected on the first night, but camping outside, sounds of birds, and we were right on a little creek, so the trickling water. Yes, I got up 3 or 4 times overnight to do my business, to visit to go take a rest in a room, and yes, sleeping near a creek, not the best idea when you've sucked down about 5 liters of water on that day. The full route was, I think, a little over 12 miles. Cause from the point that we started to the point where went to the first day and then backtracked the second day to camp, and then we woke up on the second morning and the hike back was much easier because more downhill than uphill. I was I was really good on the downhills, but when we got to the uphills, it all went downhill. Sorry, terrible joke. Um, but yeah, it was fun. It was exhausting. Everything hurt for about, I'd say, maybe we got back, Sunday night, and sometime Thursday or Friday, I was kind of not reaching for stuff or trying to stand up and being like, "Oh, I'm too old for this." Uh, but yeah, it was definitely fun. Okay, continuing on my little forget me not here. I need to put in these little, I don't know what to call them. These little thingies here. They're on every single one, but really only on one side of every one. I think it has something to do with where the petals come out, or how the petals come come out when they bloom, you know. And this is not to scale, obviously. If you've ever seen a forget-me-not, they are very, very tiny little flowers. So nowhere near the size of this rose. If this is a rose, a forget-me-not would be about the size of this hole. They are very tiny flowers, but I'm making them bigger. Why? Because I can. I like them, and I just want it to be a little bit more dominant than a tiny. And I don't want to paint 40 of them. I just want to paint one. Okay, so now we're going to start with the little ring. We're going to base that in here. They all have this little ring. The little ring will be yellow. Good for you, George. You gained back the 5 to, what is it, 5 to 6 that you wanted. And I've been trying to lose anything for, I don't know, 6 months now. My entire life it was eat whatever I wanted and never gain a single pound. And then one day that stopped. About a year and a half ago. But we all have our little uh, things with our weight. We either want to be heavier or we want to be lighter. I would prefer to be lighter because carrying 40 extra pounds up that mountain definitely hurt. Okay, I'm going to try and brighten up a little bit these things in here. Get them a little more defined. Try and phase out a little bit more of this blue. It's a little hard to tell what I'm doing upside down. So while I have, I'll pull out a little bit of this green. And a little bit of the green, a tiny little touch of the yellow, so I can try and do these little pieces on these mushrooms. The little skirts. If that's, I don't know what to call them. I don't know my mushroom parts. Any of you know what that thing is called? That little frilly thing on a mushroom? Yep, we're upside down today, starving. Need a little bit of this straight orange in here. Not orange, orangey yellow, I guess. Okay, go where I want you to. Something's a little off there, but I don't know what it is. Hey, Simone Mac. Sim Mac. With your whole full name there. Well, you know what I mean. Gonna give that forget-me-nots little white ring another coat just to make sure it's nice and solid. Back to my Cosmos picture. Tell him we all say hi, Clark. Okay, where are we going here? Now we're gonna do basically the same thing to the Cosmos, except it's not a ring, it's a full circle with some little dimply looking things here and there. I will come back in and get those a little bit thinner. Put that down for a second. Just a quick touch. Leave that flat so it can dry. Okay. Yeah, nice. That kind of thing always makes me feel like Norm from Cheers. Norm! You know. Okay, back into that slightly orangier yellow, which is drying a little bit. Let me spritz my palette. Hopefully that'll help. I just need to glaze this over, so it doesn't need to be too much. And I'm going to do the same over on this. And let me see the strawberry flower. Okay, strawberry flower needs those little lightish green spots. Get some yellow, a little bit of the green. That's not going to be thick enough. Too much water on the brush. Again. Lighten that a little bit. Let's see if we can do this here. That's a lot lighter than I expected. I actually might need to darken that a bit. It's still pretty bright. Missing one. Always a star shape. There it is. In there. source is coming from this direction. So yellowy green again. I want it to be watery. So I'm gonna very gently glaze it over. That's pretty good. Where are we moving off to? Back into the yellow a little bit. Bye, Angela. Thank you for dropping in. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, over here. I wanted to darken this a little bit more on the orangey side, so I'm going to pull out some actual kind of orangey color. See if I can get just a tad of that in there. Just a tad. I don't know if you can even see that. Get me not needs a little bit of highlights. Where did all that water come from? Okay. Light sources this way, not this way. Just a tiny bit of shadow in there. Okay, I need some green so I can fix these little parts here. Just get some green on these. A little bit of that. I don't know what color this is. Brilliant purple. The pastel-y purple. You're not going to be able to see that. Let's see if I can go backwards. No, it's not in view at all. Okay, 1 second. I just glaze a little bit of this purple on here. Okay. The forget-me-not looks a little weird because they have like a star-shaped petal, you know, like that comes to a point, but none of the ends of the petals are actually visible. So hopefully someone who knows what it is will be able to see it. Okay. Some yellow in here. It's got that yellowish green color to it. I'm trying to learn my lesson, man. I'm trying. Um, okay. Those are all pretty good for the moment. So what I'm gonna do right now is we're gonna flip this again. Back on the jig. Come on. Why won't you go back on? There we go. Oh, that's too low. Okay, I'll just move the camera. Forgive the jiggliness. Because I did whiten the teeth too. So, gonna try and get that done. Can I go closer? Oh, there we go. Let me move that a little bit more. Okay. I'm just glazing over this like kind of dirty yellow color. And then we'll come in and we'll try and shade it a bit. I did not mix up enough of that color. Oh, that looks much more vibrant here than it does on there. That's weird. Maybe it's the lighting. Um, okay. I'm trying to mix up kind of like a brown right now, like a dingy yellowy brown. Do any of those words make sense together? I don't know. Much of the thicker paint out as I can. Go back to the watery mess that I just made. Let's see if this is too dark. Putting the paint on and then touching it just to knock it back down a bit so that it's staining the color that I have on there, but not really completely covering. If that makes sense to anyone. Yes, finally. I told you I'd come back to him someday, Starving. Now, do I want to? Giving them all just a touch of a little bit of like lighter yellow than what was already on there. Okay. You know what? Let me do just a little bit more on the bottom with that lighter yellow. I don't know if this will work right. I'll give it a try. I just want to change the color of this spot in here. Yeah, I definitely should have done that white first. Because it seems like I have forgotten to do something here. And because I've been kind of changing it as I go, I'm not exactly sure what these were supposed to be. So I'm going to make them a couple of tiny little leaves. And I'll just make them green. They got to be white first. Oh, wait, nope. Nope, there was one more. You up here in the back. Okay. Gonna let that dry a second. See, while I'm here doing nothing, I just want to try and add a little bit more depth. Eye ridge here. this one too, just a tiny little bit. Well, thank you very much. I was definitely trying to get that to really pop out. But this piece right here is still... Oh, I'm getting a little too high for you guys. I should have said something. This piece right here still seems a little off though, so I'm going to try and blend a little bit into the bottom there. See if I can wet that a bit. Get my good blending brush out. That look better? I think that looks better. Yeah, I'm sometimes amazed myself at what I can do when I actually put my mind to it. Turn that off for a second. Still trying to get Touch Portal to work correctly, but for some reason it isn't. A little wetter. Why won't you connect? It was working before I started, so I don't know why it's not working now. That's too thin. So now the question is, what did everybody do last week when I wasn't here? Mhm. Anything good? I want to see if I can give just a couple little highlights in here. Make these cracks stand out just a tiny bit more. That's probably too thin. Ugh. Did not like that. It's too wet. A little too drippy. This thing is not working. I don't know why. Ah. Your cats can watch as they want. Starving. If oh, that's a little off kilter. If I did get a bump in watch time, I didn't notice because people been dropping off like flies. You know, the lurkers who never say anything. Before a couple months ago, I was at around, what was it, 1,099. I was waiting for that 1,100, and now I'm down to 1,082. A couple every, it's like one up, one down, one up, one down, two down, one up. You know how it goes. I need a lot more people like you guys. You guys always come back for me, even though I'm not very interesting. But I do try my best. Where was I going with this? I still, the teeth are still too yellow. I actually like the way it looks on screen better than I like the way it looks on the canvas. So I'm going to see if I can glaze over some white and just change that color a bit. Oh, that's too thick. That's way too thick. I thought it was going to be too thin, and it was too thick. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, let me angle down again. Just while I do these last little bits of the green foliage back here. I'm not going crazy. I'm just trying to like tint the white. Tiny bit of a highlight. And some, just a couple little places. Okay, 10 minutes left, so I don't think I'll be blocking in that poppy today, because that's a big sucker. Trying to think, do I do the poppy next time? I have the poppy left to do, and let me see what we can do here with my non-working computer. Okay, so down here at the bottom, we have the poppy, the stargazer, yeah, chrysanthemum, dahlia, marigold, and either I think that's a black-eyed Susan. And then there's something else down here, maybe the clematis. I can't remember. Yes, that is the clematis. So next week we will definitely be. I'll either be doing the poppy and the marigold, trying for the poppy and the marigold, or I will be doing the dahlia and the chrysanthemum. So that'll be the goal for next week. And this could have been done way sooner had I not, been doing every single bit of it except for the, covering stuff with white before putting on color. I am doing everything on camera. If you wanted to see what it takes to make a painting, this is how you do it. Thank you. Flowers are really great. No skateboard emoji. What's that about? Ah, I proved you wrong, George. You just gotta look harder. Or, type, uh, what is it? Colon, skate, and skateboard, colon. It works. There's a skateboard. Um, yeah, we're definitely getting closer to finish on this. 1-2 weeks, I hope, no more. If it goes to a third, I'm going to be very upset. But yeah, and then I'll probably do a video of the cleanup so I can get rid of like any leftover white graphite from the transfer, and the clear coating. That'll be its own little separate video, not a live stream. And I still don't know what I'm doing after this. But yes, I thank everyone for being here. I thank everyone for joining me. You guys rock. You always rock. And yeah, thanks to my patrons. I do, again, I apologize for my incompetence. The April postcard did not go out because I didn't order it. I set it up and never hit the submit button. My own fault. I apologize. I'm going to move the June one up to May, and you're going to get 2 at the end of May. So, I hope. I gotta make sure I hit the confirm buttons this time. So, yes. Thank you all for joining me. I will see you all next time. I don't know if there's anything else I need to say, but thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.